Hey everybody! It is Change the Shed. It's October 13, 2021 today, and super happy to be back. It has been more than 3 months, hasn't it? I think the last Change the Shed I did was on July 7, maybe. A lot of you know that I took a 6-week hike on the Colorado Trail, so that is most of the reason why I have been away, although I just really needed a break. So I feel much better, and I'm happy to be back in my rearranged studio doing some work. So I'm happy that you're here. It looks like a bunch of you are checking in from all over. It's so good to see you all again. Wouldn't it be great if we could all, just hang out somewhere and do some weaving and have a cup of tea? That would be really great. So we're going to pretend again via the computer. I got new internet. So I think it's working on the Wi-Fi. The Mac computers have taken off some of the plugs. So it means if I want good sound, I can't use the direct plug-in for the Wi-Fi. So if I start to lag in terms of the internet, which I don't think it will because we got fiber optic. But if I have a problem, let me know and I can plug in the fiber optic cable instead of the Wi-Fi. Anyway, happy to be on a public utility Wi-Fi. Thank you, Fort Collins. The next Change the Shed, before I forget, will be in 2 weeks on the 27th. It's a Wednesday. And welcome everybody, California and Canada and Montreal and Baltimore and Florida. And I know I saw Idaho go by, which needs rain. Brooklyn, New York. We were talking about the weather, which those of you in the Pacific Northwest and California, of course, could use rain in a big way. We have gotten a ton of rain. I don't know what the actual numbers are. I think that we had enough rain that we're sort of at the almost out of drought stage. So it's not like we are doing great, but Colorado definitely dodged a big bullet this year in terms of wildfires, at least so far. The season is not over, but it's getting close because I think it snowed in the South San Juans last night. So that's a good thing, which allowed me to do a hike. And here I put a photo. If you haven't seen my hiking things on Instagram and you're interested in Colorado and hiking, I posted to Instagram for the 6 weeks I was hiking. And this is a picture of one of the most amazing places that I was this summer, which was... This is Lake Ann Pass, which is over Lake Ann, which is what you see down there, the turquoise lake, on the Collegiate West portion of the Colorado Trail. So it was a really wonderful hike. I turned my brain off for 6 weeks, which was my goal, and I had a lot of fun. So if you're interested in hiking, go and look at my Instagram feed. There's a couple blog posts about it. Also, if you don't want to read through, I don't know how many Instagram posts there were, probably 100. There's a couple summary blog posts, which might be more your speed. Yes, I'm back safe and sound. It was so interesting. Everybody who was so concerned about me, thank you. I have been hiking solo for 15 years or more. And I'm pretty confident with it, but I appreciate all of you who had concerns about my safety. I was perfectly safe. Probably much safer on the trail than I would be driving around Fort Collins. So I know that it's hard to imagine hiking 500 miles alone for a lot of us. But once you've done a lot of hiking, it's not so unimaginable. It's sort of like weaving. It's one day at a time. All you have to do to hike 500 miles is just hike one day. So one day is between 12 and 18 miles, and then you go to sleep, and then you get up and you do that again the next day. So sort of like weaving, right? Once you get an idea for a tapestry, you just do this little part today, and then you get up tomorrow and you do this little part, and then eventually in 6 weeks or so, maybe you'll be done. Or a year, or however big the project is. Yes, Mary, I did finally get new glasses, and you all will appreciate this because I will not be looking over the top, putting on readers or anything else. In your late 40s, you need progressives. So, which is the fancy new word they use for bifocals. It sounds so much better, right? Progressives over bifocals. But I did get progressives, and I can see things now. It's amazing. So yes, thanks for noticing, Mary. That's sweet. Welcome everybody who's new here. So Change the Shed is just this thing I do from my studio. I started it in the pandemic, right after the pandemic started, which is forever ago now, a year and a half ago. And I've enjoyed it. I think it's just been really fun to feel like there is some connection with all of you out there around the world. It's not as good as, like I said, sitting together and having a cup of tea, but it's something. So I'd like to keep doing it. One of the reasons that I want to keep doing it is that I really want to have some more examples of large format tapestry. I've been weaving small things during the pandemic. Part of that was just that's where my brain was. And I was busy with other things when I was writing the book and all of those things. It's hard to focus on a big project. So I am now going to focus on some big projects. And so I wanted to be able to show that on Change the Shed because I think it's easy to find examples of small tapestry being woven, but not so easy to see what it's really like to have a big loom. And big looms aren't necessarily expensive, and you too could use a big loom if you wanted to. So I wanted that to be an example. So that's my goal for Change the Shed coming up for the rest of this year, is to show you some new projects, which I think I will be weaving on the Harrisville rug loom. But as you can see behind me is the Gobelin loom also. I have another idea for the Gobelin loom, and I don't know when that will get started, but that's my widest loom. It's 60 inches wide, so I have some wide tapestry dreams. Someday I hope to buy a wider Harrisville rug loom. That is my goal, but I do not have room for, it's a monster. I don't have room for a bigger one now. Okay, so Michelle is asking about, Michelle's asking about loom placement. So she has an Arras, and putting it on the coffee table seems too low and the dining table too high. Yes, so for me, the looms are all about the seating surface. So I have a different table here. Let's see if you can see this table. So one of the reasons I changed how my studio is that I don't know if you can see this table is a 54-inch square table that used to be a conference table at a therapy place I used to work at, and they were selling them really cheap, and I bought one. Fortunately, it has a laminate top so I can steam my tapestries on it. It's really great. Anyway, the height of this table is a little bit higher than a normal table. And so when I weave at it, it's all about what I'm sitting on. So right now I'm sitting on a loom bench that is adjustable in height. So when I'm working on these Mirrix looms, I can be up high enough that I can have my body up high enough that I'm working right in front of me. So my arms are, level. I'm not really stressing out my shoulders. So on a loom like the Arras, it's two things about the Arras. This is the Shack Tapestry loom, and there's some demos of it earlier in Change the Shed. Make sure you advance the warp so that you're always weaving low in the loom. Same thing with the Mirrix. But make your seat adjustable. So if there's some reason why you don't want the tapestry rolled around and you want to see it, well, make your seat higher so that you can reach it. I don't know if that helps, Michelle, but if you can't change the height of your tables, I also use adjustable height tables. I have a little plastic one behind me under that tub behind me. There's a little plastic table that has adjustable height. I do use that a lot. You want to make sure your body's in the right position. but I would go for better seating. This loom bench is actually not that comfortable. Upstairs I have a pretty nice, not super expensive, but $200 maybe, office chair. Office chairs are great for weaving because if they have adjustable height. Marlena, you got a 60-inch Harrisville? I'm so jealous. I actually talked to Chick Colony at Harrisville about making me a 72-inch. He said he would do it, and that they've made them before. You know how big that is? It's like as big as my Subaru, so I definitely need a bigger table. Okay, I'm going to show you what I am. Now I've been yakking on for a little while. I'm going to show you some stuff. I'm weaving on. Let me show you what I'm weaving because that might be fun. I'm working on, let's see. I'm working on, I'm not going to show you the whole cartoon because I don't have it finalized yet, but I'm working on a little, one of the ideas on the trail, I saw tons and tons of wildflowers in the first part of the Colorado Trail. There was a ton of rain in July up high in Colorado, and the wildflowers were nutso. I mean, just more than I've really ever seen. They were amazing. And so I took tons of pictures in the first 3 or 4 weeks or so of the trail. And I did bring a watercolor set with me on the trail. And this is actually a scan of one of the little paintings I did on the trail. But I want to do a tapestry about the wildflowers, but I don't want it to be flowers necessarily. So I'm working on that design. And right now I'm sampling a bit of the design and some colors. So I actually pulled up the pictures in my computer and sampled the colors, and that's what these are, which was interesting to see it in a grid. And another exercise I'd like to do is actually moving them around a little bit and playing with the whole, color theory of it. Am I going to go with split complements? I'm going to stick with analogous colors. I'm not quite sure yet. It was kind of fun, though, to just sample the colors from the pictures and put them together to see what those looked like. So anyway, I have many ideas about this, and a lot of them have not been finalized. So you all will get to see me succeed or fail on this. When I do my cartoons, I use this stuff. This is like acetate. I learned this from James Kohler, who's my teacher. And I like the acetate because I weave from the back. On big projects, I weave from the back. And so I can I draw my cartoon. You can't see it, but there's a big cartoon on the wall up here. I draw it, especially if I'm drawing full size, from the front because I want to see it when I'm designing it. And then I trace it off on this stuff. So I traced it like this, and then I just flip it over. And I write weave side on it so I know that I'm not getting it backwards. Of course, once it's pinned to the loom, I'm not going to get it upside down. But anyway, this is just a sample of that piece, which I am going to play with a little bit here. I'm doing two samples. One was this guy. Looks like I feel like the light's not very good, but it could be my computer. Hold on. Oh yeah, look at that. I wanted to sample the colors. So one of my big questions is, can I use white? I've never done a tapestry with white, and I actually am afraid it's going to wash out the colors, which is part of why I'm doing the bigger sample. But I'm mixing some bright white with silk and then looking at some other flower colors. And here I was looking at whether I wanted to do a gradation or not. So I'll keep looking at that. These are colors that I had on my shelf. I have massive yarn shelves. It's kind of overwhelming, actually. If you see a yarn sale come up on my website, it's because I just don't have any room for more yarn. And I keep dying more. So whether I have the colors I need or not, I'm not sure. I'm actually Like I have, this is a color I found that I love. Like I really want to use this color. This is all I have. I don't think it's enough. So fortunately, when I made it, I put the formula right on the tag, which is smart of me. I should do that all the time. So I could make more of this, but I undoubtedly will be dying. Welcome, Paula, I think, from Greece, I believe. I'm so glad you all are back. This is, let me zoom this in a little bit. See if we can make this camera work. Sorry, don't get sick. This sample is on a Mirrix Zac loom. I think if they call it the Zac. It is a 22-inch loom. So this is what I was talking about with the white. Has anybody done this? I've never used white as a background, and I fear I will not like it, which is why I am sampling. I'm putting, you might be able to see this. Not only am I using white, so usually the white I have is just undyed, which in wool is not white, it's cream. And, but Bokkins makes this yarn, Faru, in an undyed bleach white yarn. So this is Faru, or however you say that in Swedish. I apologize to the Scandinavians here. Completely not saying it right, I know. It's a great yarn. I like it a lot. It's very similar to the Harrisville singles I use, but they have this bleach white, and it's shiny because it has spell sow in it. Hold on, sorry. There we go. I don't have the Harrisville here for you to compare, but then I got some silk from Treenway, and this, of course, is not bleach white, but it looks interesting when you put it together. Oh, awesome, Sarah. Cool. Sarah says, Sarah Sweat, she has used white a lot and she loves it. Rarely bright white. Well, that would be another question if I should use bright white or, let me turn this, bright white or bleach white or, God, my brain apparently not finding words today. Bleach white or natural. So I'm also trying this other little thing, which this is the same white mixed with some green silk from Treenway. This is variegated, and I don't think I like the green, but it's an idea I'm playing with a little bit to see what it looks like. Oh, I also have my treadle on here, so you won't see me reach up to change the shed because I'm doing it with my feet. I do like to twist these bundles when they're mixed. I probably should have woven a little more of this before I got on because I wanted to get to this. I wanted to get up to this other color. I need one more bit of this white to go in the edge here. I had an idea about using cutbacks here, and I'm at the edge of abandoning the idea, but I figured I should at least sample it. So that bundle I just put in was the white with the white silk, and this one is the white wool with the green silk. If I use this idea, I will be dyeing some silk in the color that, a lighter color that doesn't stand out quite as much as that does. I also got some 62s silk because I thought, oh, maybe I'll want it really fine. I don't think I can dye this. Look how thin this is. Let's see if you can see this. It's so thin. I'm pretty sure I won't be able to manage it. Here's a comparison of the 22 and the 62. Can you see that? Come on, camera. Anyway, super thin. I don't think I can manage it in terms of not making a huge tangled mess. I mean, maybe in small amounts I could do it, but. So I haven't even decided the final size of this piece. It will be big. Anywhere between 40 by 20, 40 inches square, and multiple panels of. Right now my loom is at 40 inches wide, warped at 40 inches wide, and I kind of don't want to rewarp it, but I could go to 45 if I rewarped it. Okay. Thanks, Isla. She says it's good to hear me yakking. I do get carried away, y'all. I apologize. Adjustable easel is the other idea for a loom. I don't think it'll work for the Arras though, unless it's a pretty beefy easel. The Arras is a bigger, heavier loom than the Mirrix. It works great on the Mirrix though, to put it on an easel. Sarah says faded uneven white is best when weaving old scraps of paper, which is probably not what you're after. No, Sarah, but I like it. Oh, Tracy's asking about the old shack tapestry loom. You could ask that. I'll answer that a different place, Tracy. I don't want to go on about the old shack tapestry loom because I don't like that loom at all. It's super difficult. The new Arras, shacked Arras loom is fantastic. Welcome, Victoria from North Carolina. I did have a very long hike. All right, so let's do another. Oh, that's the wrong one. 22 silk plus the furu. They're actually fairly similar in size. And I've run out of my bundle here. I'm using 3 of the wool and 1 of the silk. I'm hoping that bundle is similar to 3 of the Harrisville singles, which are a little bit thicker than the furu, because I want to use those 2 yarns together. However, we shall find out in this sample. Okay, so 3 wool and 1 silk. I got this silk from Treenway, which is actually right down the road from me. It came super fast, like 2 days. I guess because it's right down the road from me. All right. Just a little splicing. I am weaving this from the back because I will weave the piece from the back. Oh, I was going to show you this. Hang on. If I keep getting sidetracked, I'll never get up to the part with the thing. But so this is the first time that I've used, let me switch cameras. This is the first time that I've used the Mirrix. I've used them before, but it's been a long time. The Shasta Combs, I don't usually use them because I like the continuous warp. I like to be able to move the weaving down. But for this sample, I knew I wasn't going to go too far. And I just put warp extenders on this Lanny loom so that I would have enough room for a good shed. Anyway, the advantage of this, I'm weaving from the back. The advantage of those little Shasta Combs for doing samples is that I can do this. I can even weave it from the back. I can see the front of the weaving as I'm going. So that was thrilling when I realized that yesterday. I did not plan that as a reason I was going to use the Shasta Combs, but turns out it worked great. Should have just made 2 of these. Because now I need another one. I also don't know if I can get enough of this. If I decide to use this white Faru, I need a lot of it, and I'm actually not sure I can get it. I tried to order some a while back, and Glamachra didn't have any. And I got this from the Woolery, so if I can't get enough, I would need several pounds of it. If I can't get enough, then I won't be using it. Cutting it close here on this splice. The EPI or ends per inch of these samples is 8. So because this is a large tapestry, I don't want to make it any narrower than 8. I suppose if I decide to make it, I don't think I'll make it so big that I'll bump the EPI up to 6, but the bigger it gets, the more you can get away with a wider ends per inch, which means it's faster to weave. So this is 8. That's what the warp on my loom is. So thinking it will be 8, but we will see how. It depends a little bit about how the shapes work. If they look good at 8, I don't want to go to 6 because then they'll be blockier, but if they're smooth enough at 8, I could consider 6. Chances are good I'll weave it at 8 though. I like 8. Or 10. I wove most of my emergence pieces were woven at 10 ends per inch. Carolyn's asking about weaving from the back, and that's another question I don't want to get into because I would talk. If I start talking about that, I'll be talking about it for 10 minutes. So, but I just wrote a blog post, Carolyn, about weaving from the front versus weaving from the back sometime in 2021, I'm pretty sure. I think it's one of those questions from the book blog post. So look for that on my blog. And weaving from the back is a traditional way. It's how I learned. It's how they do it in France. Weaving from the front is a very American way to do it, thanks to our dear Archie Brennan, who really started that trend. there are good reasons to do either, and which you choose just depends a lot on what you're weaving and what size and what techniques you want to use. Some techniques don't work from the front. Oh, thanks, Nan. Check with Vavstuga. I will. If I can't find the Faru from Glamacra, I forgot Vavstuga has a different source. So same yarn, they just get it directly. I don't think they get it from Glamacra. Glamacra USA supplies most of the Swedish yarn in the United States, but not all of it. And Vavstuga is another great source. So thanks for reminding me, Nan. I think yarn supplies have been a little bit dicey since COVID. It's been hard for, like, I know Harrisville is probably, I don't know if they're still out of Highland, but I've had students telling me they can't get any Highland because, they had to shut their mill down due to COVID. And then when they were able to open, they had a backlog of, Harrisville's a very busy mill. They do lots and lots of orders for other small yarn companies. And so I think they just have been super far behind. They work their butts off. So, but when you only have two, they have two, what do you call it? The runs where the carding runs, they have two of those. And that's all you got. You can't go any faster than you can go. So I'm sure that small yarn producers all over the world have had the same issue with COVID. Oh, thanks, you guys. Nan and Sarah, thanks for checking that out. See, now I don't have any excuses. I know I can get this yarn at least from Vavstuga, which is a great... I've never been there for a course. I'm sure some of you have. It's in New England somewhere, I think. They do all the Scandinavian weaving stuff. I know. I think Barbara Burns teaches there. Barbara's amazing. If you didn't see Barbara Burns's... I don't know why this just came up in my head. Damascus Fiber Arts did another series of lectures this fall and summer and fall. And Barbara Burns was one of them. She's a tapestry weaver in Maine. And I just thought her lecture was amazing. She's so inspiring. So go to Damascus Fiber Arts School and look for the replays of those if you missed it. Okay, so... I'm getting close here. I'm at the bottom of these dots. Also, something I should notice, I've never used white before. So I'm just thinking, oh, these marks are really black and this is white yarn. What if something happened? I do use industrial Sharpie markers. Super permanent. It's supposed to be permanent to like super high temperatures and stuff. But this actually makes me a little bit nervous. So I might go with you can use like washable markers that wash out. Might be smart for this. I don't know. There's a little bit of a change here in height, so I'm going to do this. Just thinking about how to make my step lower. I wanted those of you in some of my more advanced classes, I wanted a valley thread right there on the front. I'm weaving from the back. I had to think about how to make that happen, but this is a hill thread on this side, be a valley thread on the other side. I think that's good enough. Jessica asked about my beater. This is actually an old magpie. This is one that John made. This is my oldest tapestry beater. I love it. John sold the company to Magpie Woodworks is the company. He sold it to Becky Dowd, who is actually a tapestry weaver. She's also an amazing woodworker. So I highly recommend her beaters. Whoops. I just leaned on my keyboard and made something happen there. So this is one of Becky's magpie beaters. You can see she changed the text there. John called them Maggies, and she's branding them Magpie. Also fantastic. She doesn't make one quite this size. This is a little bit wider, and then she makes a small one that I really like for small looms. But yeah, it's Magpie Woodworks. If you like to have a nice tapestry fork that's handmade by somebody who loved it for many hours as it was being made, it's well worth it for a good tool. I think these are, I don't know how much these are. They might be $80 some, but it's well worth it for a tool that you're going to use for the rest of your weaving life. Okay, make a hill thread on this side. Well, I'm not going to get as far as I thought today. I apologize. I will have to show you more when I come back. Or maybe on the blog. Oh, good. Christine says the Woolery has Faru. That's where I got this, was the Woolery. I get a lot of tools and stuff and like my my color wheel and everything from the Woolery. They're a really nice company, and they're very kind. They have carried things I've asked them to carry, and I also like the Yarn Barn of... I am not here to advertise for other people. Sorry. Yarn Barn of Kansas, though, is another really... Just support your local shops is all I really want to say there. Support your local shops. Oh, good. You're welcome, Marlena. She said she's had a little slump lately, and it's great to be inspired. Yeah, Marlena, I had to go hike for 6 weeks to get out of my slump. So if you can get back in your groove with a little YouTube, that's pretty impressive. I got some good ideas while I was hiking, but in terms of weaving, I was very careful not to think about a lot of other things on the trail. I was not out there to solve problems or really do anything except just walk. And so every time my brain started, every time my brain started wanting to solve some problem or think about something, I made it stop. It's very helpful to have 6 weeks of just walking. So what I'm aiming for here is to fill in this whole shape. And this I'm testing a lazy line with building up 2 steps on each of these, and I'm so tempted when I start something like this. I'm so tempted to be like, I don't like it, I'm going to change it. But I don't think you know until you play with it for a while, right? So Rebecca, just keep going. You have an idea, do a sample that's big enough to figure out whether you actually like it or not. That's the little voice in my head saying, Rebecca, don't change it so soon. You'll never settle on anything. So what I will do is fill in this whole shape. And then when it gets up here, I'm going to do an outline in a darker color. And I don't actually have the color I'm going to use, but I grabbed this off the shelf. This is actually a super dark green, which I thought would be a trial for the first color I'm going to test in here is a blue violet. So green is kind of this yellow, super dark yellow green, but it's a little bit, it's not exactly a complement, but it's a little bit across the color wheel. So it has some yellow in it. And as an outline, it's kind of nice to have those complement things helping each other a little bit versus just using a plain black, which I almost never use a plain black except in exercises in courses. Usually if I have a black in a piece, it is something like that, a super dark version of something else. So, okay, I will finish that and have it be more, show you what I decided next time. Thanks for coming, you all. I'm happy that you're here. I'm glad that Change the Shed seems like something you want to spend some time on. I did have a goal of keeping it to 30 minutes, but here we are 40 minutes in because I yak too much. We'll just call it my welcome back session, right? I did launch a new class called Introduction to Tapestry Weaving. I finished the class almost before I left on the trail, and so I was able to launch it when I got back. And if you have friends who are new to tapestry or you want an inexpensive intro class, this is a lead-in to Warp and Weft, but it's only $39. So I'm also going to have pretty soon on my website for the holidays a package with my book, The Art of Tapestry Weaving, and this class. So if you need a good present for somebody, you could get a signed copy of my book plus this class, and I think it would be a fun Christmas present. Can't think of anything else I need to say. So I hope that y'all are doing well. Stay tuned to the, if you're interested in how this piece evolves, I'm sure you will see more about it on the blog, and I will show you what I've done in 2 weeks on Change the Shed. Have such a great week. I hope that all of you in the West are getting some rain this week. Precipitation of some kind, not flooding, just nice gentle rain or snow, right? We've also had enough flooding. Thank you, you guys. Those of you who are inspired to pull out your loom, I'm happy to hear it. Sometimes we get stuck, and it's really helpful to just... Marla says, Change the Shed is like an old friend. Please don't limit it to 30 minutes. I love these visits. Well, thank you, Marla. That's good feedback. So perhaps you're right. I may not be able to limit it because this is just who I am. I just like to teach, and then I get off on a tangent about, oh, this is what I do. What do you do? And I wish you were right here so you could tell me what you all do, because most of you have some other procedure you figured out. Oh, good, Lucille. She's working on a larger tapestry of an angel and posted it with the hashtag Change the Shed. So that's another thing. Thanks for mentioning. The hashtag that's right up there. If you use Instagram or Twitter, although I admit I'm a horrible Twitter user, I almost never look at Twitter, use that hashtag and so that we can see what people are using. There's a lot of people who have now picked up this hashtag. So, and I think people who never have watched Change the Shed are using that hashtag, but it's okay. As long as it's, something about tapestry, it's great. We should all share and look at what we're doing. So, yeah. Awesome. Thanks, you guys. I'm so glad you've been here. I will see you in 2 weeks on the 27th, and I hope that I have this idea firmed up, and I actually have a final cartoon, and maybe if we're super lucky, I will have the weaving started on the big loom, which if I can get the tech to work, I'm going to put a camera over the loom so you can actually see me weaving on the Harrisville rug loom, which will be really fun. I'll make you all want floor looms, right? See y'all next time.